Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Professional Brotherhood podcast. Happy Labor Day. We are recording this episode on actual Labor Day. So if you're listening on Wednesday, this is what's going on here on a Monday morning. And I am happy to have Dr. Michelle Kent back. Hi there. How are you?
Hey, hi, good morning.
So we got a lot of feedback on the last episode that we recorded, and we covered a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. The intention was to dive into the energy drink craze, which we did, and I think we covered pretty well. But we got into healthy alternatives for those products, and we were all over the place by the end, and we got a lot of feedback on the episode and quite a few requests for us to take a deeper dive into the healthier alternatives that people can utilize in place of those crappy energy drinks. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to take a dive in. We're going to eventually put up a piece of reference material, a document that you can download and look at and go to the store or Amazon or wherever the hell you need to go to kind of shop these things out. And what do you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All
Let's
right.
do it.
So let's do it. So I'll just kind of let you start off because this is definitely your lane. This is far from my lane. I'm just going to sit here and make sure we keep you on time. That's all.
Perfect. Just let me ramble. That sounds good. All right. Well, it seems like some of the feedback that I had received was, like you said, just digging deeper into the actual alternatives to energy drinks.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that I don't drink energy drinks myself. So what I did after hearing this feedback was I went to the store and I ended up going to the big Wally one without trying to advertise anything.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, let me back it up a little bit too. Everything that I'm going to recommend, it's not going to be anything that I'm directing as medical advice to any one person, and I'm not treating any medical condition, and I'm not diagnosing. These are all just like various recommendations that you could find online. I'm here to just like dig a little bit deeper. So
absolutely.
With that said, I went to this Wally store and I found like various products because I feel like if you go there and you see it there, you should be able to find it like just about anywhere else.
Sure, absolutely.
So those are the items that I'm going to focus on. And like you said, you can then probably print out this document and go and search for those items. So some of the ones that I found that I think would be nice alternatives to actual energy drinks, because what's the idea of doing an energy drink? It's that you want a boost of energy. And so folks are either going to have it like first thing in the morning upon waking, on their way into work, kind of get their day started. Or we're seeing their like a big reliance for, you mentioned the last episode, like coming in with like a handful of them as you're entering training and you're just like bolstering yourself for like exhaustion, you're going to enter, or you crack one at the end of the day. So basically it's like needing something quick. So when it comes to like various actual energy drinks that you can do quickly and things that would be cleaner, let's say, and less have less ill effects on your health, there are two products that I found in particular. Again, I'm not advertising or endorsing either of them. They're just things that I found I like. And so I'll go through the ingredients and that'll kind of dig deeper a little bit. So one of the products is called Ethan's Energy Drink, and it's this like little shot glass thing. It's about the same size as a 5-hour energy shot. This one, I really like it because it's organic, it's non-GMO, it's all, all the good things that you would want with that stuff. There's 0 sugar added to it, which if you take a look at the typical energy drink, no two products will be the same, but they will have similar ingredients to the whole profile. So oftentimes they'll have the caffeine component and then sugar. And for a 16-ounce energy drink, you can have like up to 50 milligrams of sugar, which is a lot. That's, much more than what you would want that's recommended for a daily intake. So if you're just consuming that in one drink, you've already exceeded that. It's a little bit of where we get that crash after the stimuli of the caffeine component as well. So this Ethan energy drink doesn't have any sugar added, which I prefer that overall. Then if you're also a diabetic, this should not impact your glucose levels, and it should help just maintain a steadier energy profile because it's not impacting your sugar level. It also, the main energy component or caffeine component to it is green tea. And so it's a green tea extract, and that one, so this energy drink has about 150 milligrams for that little shot. Now that's a lot of caffeine, whereas a typical energy drink can have the same amount, 150. So this
Sure.
is pretty much what they're like looking to do, is just like one shot full, something clean. There's another one that they have in it too, and it's called a fast fuel, the Ethan's fast fuel shots, and those have MCT oil. And I know MCT oil's been like, yeah, it's all the rave, right? And plus
I did
with
that because I had a bad experience with MCT oil.
you know, without even saying any more, I can guess
You
what
can
it
guess,
was.
yeah, you could probably guess what it was. Yeah,
Yeah. So again, this isn't like medical advice. Like,
yeah.
take it easy with some of these things.
Well, and again, it's it's like you said, it's a craze, right?
Uh-huh.
So you probably are well aware of like the bulletproof diet, right? And bulletproof
Oh yeah.
coffee and all that stuff, because that comes from out your neck of the country, right? I believe. Didn't it kind of start out there? I think whatever, but yeah, I started drinking MCT oil in my coffee in the morning for a
Yeah.
while, and I was doing pretty good until one day I did not make my own coffee. My wife made it for me, and I was working out in the morning at the time, so I would drink my coffee with my MCT oil like early. And yeah, she made my coffee for me one morning and added a little more MCT oil than I was putting in it. And let's just say my body did not react kindly. Google,
Yeah.
Google potential side effects to too much MCT oil, and that's all we'll say here to keep it clean. But
Yeah, well, without like digging too deep and getting all nerdy about it. So thanks for sharing that.
yeah,
The reason why MCT oil is like quite beneficial for folks is because it's quickly metabolized, so it can enter the liver quickly. We break it down easily, so it's a really great fuel source. Yeah, it's basically quickly metabolized for sustained energy.
yeah,
And so this Ethan's energy drink has one that has MCT oil in it. So if you're looking for something to bolster your energy and you're about to enter a workout, that's something that I would look for, would be something more like that. So taking a look at like the back of, and even if you go to the store and you're not going to purchase any of these, like whatever, that's fine. Like what we're going to do is go through some of the like the ingredients, and then you can educate yourself as to why you would want to choose one product over the other.
sure.
And like this, so the first thing to point out here would be like, okay, this one doesn't have sugar. I already like that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I look at all the ingredient lists, and then all the ingredients in the list, and it's actually things that not only can I pronounce them, which like even if it's a really long chemical word, like you could probably pronounce it at some point, but that's not the point. You need to know what it is.
Sure.
And so looking at the back of this product, like there's all these antioxidants from fruit extracts, there's B vitamins, there's minerals, all sorts of stuff. So I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, and one thing I jotted down here
Yeah.
as you were talking is, I think what a lot of you are going to find is you being out in Washington State versus me being here in New York. You
Yeah.
referenced the Wally store, right?
Yeah.
Wally stores tend to inventory on the clientele that they are catering to, even by region. So a lot of these
Sure.
products that you might find in Washington, that is typically known to be a healthier state versus New York,
Sure.
you might not even find these products in your local Wally store where you're listening. So you might have to do
Oh
a little
yeah.
bit more research on where to find them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing
Yeah.
that up. Another one that I found, and I think that this one might be a little bit more extended across the nation, but who knows, would be one called Life Aid. I think the company is called Life Aid or Fit Aid,
Yeah.
something to
Yep.
that effect. You've heard of that one?
Yeah, absolutely. That's big on the Spartan circuit. Fit Aid.
Dude, where have I been, man? Like, I found out about this product like 2 days ago when I went to the
Yeah.
store searching for stuff.
Yeah, they're a huge Spartan race sponsor. When you finish a Spartan race, it's the first thing they hand you is a fit aid.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, look at that. Their marketing hasn't made it to me yet.
It's all right. They,
Fail.
some of the other products I think are new. Like they have. I know Fit Aid was the first one. They have one that's like you said, Life Aid. It's focused on has a different focus. I think they have one that even focuses on like hangover and recovery.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, I know I just like made fun of their marketing, but honestly, their marketing is really pretty great. So their
yeah,
website, they have a huge line of products. And yeah, they've got one for like specifically if you're about to rally. They're
yep.
like, crack one before, crack one after, and you're gonna be all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
They
You'll
get
be
all
good.
sciencey about it. It's got like 5-HTP in it, which is it's a precursor to melatonin. And so like it helps with tryptophan and they get all nerdy with this stuff and I like it. So let's dig into that a little bit.
Cool.
So one of the products that they have is called Focus. That
Hmm.
one I like a lot. That one does contain caffeine, and the source for caffeine is yerba mate. So we'll go through yerba mate in a little bit, and it also has green tea in it, and we'll go through green tea a tiny bit as well. So this one has 100 milligrams of caffeine for a can, whereas like the Ethan's energy drink and other energy drinks have 150. So this one's a little bit less. But the reason why I like this one in particular is because it has a lot of other cool stuff inside of it as well, like B vitamins. So B vitamins are really great for just cellular energetics overall and metabolism. It's going to help just feeling good. It also has GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that, like, the reason why I like this particular combo is because caffeine is a stimulant, right? It makes you drive. It makes you do something, but
Right.
oftentimes it comes with a little bit of a crash at the end. So GABA is really pretty cool because it's called an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which means like if you're feeling like that excitement and that brain fog and like if you're the type of person, for instance, that like you do a lot throughout the day and then you get to the end of the day and you don't feel like you accomplished much, but you know you did a lot of stuff, like that might just be a lot of this like excitement of the neurotransmitters. So GABA kind of inhibits some of it.
Hmm.
So I like it because it's like a really nice combo of like a stimulant of energy, but it kind of helps just chill that jittery sensation that we get with caffeine. So that one's pretty cool. It also, a lot of these various Life Aid products have two things that I like. One is creatine. And again, creatine is, a big fad with workouts and
Yeah,
all
fitness,
sorts of
sure.
stuff. Yeah. So the reason why that one's really pretty great is because it assists with ATP production. And ATP is basically like the energetic currency that you need. So yeah, you can pretty much just consider that to be like the money to our energy production. And so creatine as having that as an ingredient in any energy drink means that you're basically promoting energy production within the body. It also this product has citrulline, and citrulline might be another thing that folks have heard in the workout realm. And that one's important or is popular because it increases nitric oxide. So eventually down the line, if you ever want to talk more about nitric oxide as well, that would be really good
Yeah.
because of its impact on the cardiovascular system. It really increases circulation overall by vasodilating, having a vasodilation property. And because of that, you end up increasing just circulation of oxygen to the cells and nutrients to the cells. And this is where we can bolster some energy as well.
Now,
So I like this
can I interject a question here? And this might be one of those questions where you're like, we're going to have to talk about this on the side, totally. But
product.
if we can get a kind of an answer, I think it would be good because a couple of the things that you just mentioned,
Yeah,
creatine, nitric oxide, all right,
yeah,
are two big products in some of those real popular energy drinks that we've talked about on the earlier show, like the bangs, all right. And again, not being an expert but knowing enough to probably get myself in trouble, I know that there's also, when you look at those products, there's also good variations of those products and bad variations of those products, correct? Like
yeah.
not all creatine is the same is essentially what I'm asking you. Is that correct, or is that bullshit and that somebody fed me.
Well, I'm hoping I interpret your question well enough, so let me try and answer it. But so yeah, no two products like that we'll see on the shelf will be identical. The creatine, the nitric oxide, even the caffeine that we can get, like if you read the side of the label and it just says caffeine, that means it was chemically created. It was made in a lab. Like it doesn't say it came from green tea, it doesn't say it came from yerba mate. Like that was made in a lab. So yeah, it's the same chemical structure, but is it all the same product? No. So then the cleanliness of where you're sourcing it from might matter a little bit. And then again, as we're like, if your listener's just like, well, what the hell am I looking for in a product then? Well, then you might want to, and if you find something that has like the same exact thing and it's got like caffeine and creatine and nitric oxide, and this one has all that stuff too, and why would you want to choose one or the other? I would go with one that doesn't have sugar. I would go with one that doesn't have like all this added extra stuff to it, like corn syrup or whatever, like things that are just literally added to it. Like that's not the product you need.
Yeah, I just know it can be super confusing for people, because, and again, being involved in the fitness world also, I know that there's guys out there that are super immersed in the fitness world that'll be like, do not go to the Wally store for your creatine, your pre-workout, your whey protein, because what you're getting there for $14 a can is not the same as the stuff that you're buying online for $45 a can. And not to confuse everybody, just to put out there that there are differences in the way things are, like you said, the way they're made and the way the products are sourced and how they're put together.
I think that's a really fun topic, and we should definitely dig into that one then, because using protein powders and like basically workout aids is very popular in your community. I mean, it's just popular across the world.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, so if we could definitely like maybe dig into that a little bit as to why, like the sourcing of it, or there are products called like the keto powders. Like what does that really mean?
Yeah. All right, that'll be part 3. All right.
Part 3.
We'll save that for part 3. How's that sound?
Got you.
We just created another episode for the future, which I love.
All right, wait for it.
Okay, all right. Sorry,
now I need to go to the supplement store and I need to go check that. You were just making me go to all these stores.
Well, look, it's a huge, like you said, it's a huge industry,
It is.
and there are differences, and I think people don't realize that sometimes they buy into the marketing. Like, you mentioned Fit Aid. Now Fit Aid, like you said, has great marketing. There's companies out there that have great marketing and also have a great product. And then there's also companies that have great marketing, and when you read the ingredients on the side of the can, the product isn't so great, so I guess don't always buy into the marketing is the message. Do your research, right?
That's kind of like an overarching lesson I believe we should just keep in mind generally with this topic is that like we're smarter we know us better than any of these marketing companies ever could. Yeah. So, learn about the products, like learn what's inside of them. You're digesting them at the end of the day. But the marketing, like, can really, it can really aid you a little bit in getting into the weeds with some of this stuff. But so thinking about like the marketing for me makes me think about, I guess the different levels of that really goes into the production of an energy drink, let's say.
Sure.
And so if you look again at the list, the ingredient list, a lot of research has come out of each individual ingredient in its own little, so for instance, if it has GABA and it has B vitamins and it has yerba mate, oftentimes there's been research done on like one product and just that one alone. So then this company could come together and be like, oh, hey, well, here's a list of like 5 things that boost energy. And then here's taurine and it does this. And here's nitric oxide and it does this. What if we threw it all into like one drink? And then you can get all sciencey and like create this mental map about like how they think it's going to happen. But interestingly enough, too, there's been more research coming out showing that if you put taurine in with caffeine, it can actually reduce caffeine's effectiveness. So we got to get like a little bit more educated on the individual level as to what you're actually consuming.
Sure.
And so let's continue.
All right. So I right turned you at creatine.
You
That's
did.
where we were. Yeah, we were talking about creatine and we were talking about nitric oxide. You got through nitric oxide. So we were talking about creatine and nitric oxide as potential things to look out for, as potential ingredients. And I totally sidetracked you on.
You can't do this to me. I'm
not
a pro like you just yet. I'm not like
oh, stop. So okay. So go from there. Okay. Pick back up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Jeez, we're wasting time here, Brian. Okay, so well, there's 2 big drinks that I just went through. That Ethan's energy drink, the Slyfade Fit Aid. It looks like it's something that you can even buy online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that one's pretty big. Brandon mentioned at the last visit was the yerba mate, the actual energy drink itself. So if you're wanting something that's like bubbly and fuzzy and whatever, then those would be the top 3 products that I would look for at a store. Sure. And then again, if you're in a region of the nation where you can't find those products, well, then just look at the ingredient list and like take a look at that compared to a Red Bull or something else that we've discussed, a 5-hour energy drink, and start to just see the difference as to why I might recommend this one over the other. Some other stuff that I've had. So one thing that I really, really like is there's this brand called the Republic of Tea. They have all sorts of, it's a tea company. And they have actually all of their teas basically come in these tins. They're expensive. They're like like $15 or something like that for 36 bags. But they're really pretty good. One thing that I really enjoy of them is something called their daily greens. And so it's this like little packet here, and you just pour it into your bottle of water, and basically mix it and you drink it. And this one has moringa powder, which is really great for blood sugar regulation. It has matcha. Matcha is a form of green tea, so we'll dig into that in a second. It also has spirulina, which is like a green algae. And so if you see that like dark, vibrant green color, you can just think cellular energy, like plant energy. And so you're basically consuming plant energy. It has other really fun things like mint and coconut, so it's delicious. And this one little packet has 65 milligrams of caffeine in it. So I actually really like to carry this one around. Like I always have it in my purse. And then I always take them hiking with me. So this is my hiking choice if I'm not going to bring like a jet boil to boil water for coffee or something like that.
Right. Well, you answered my question, because my one question after all that was going to be, but how does it taste? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So it's a green drink, but so let's take a look at what they add for flavoring. So they have agave inulin, which is basically like the fiber of agave. And so that's going to add some sweetness to it. They've got monk fruit, and that's what's going to absolutely add sweetness. And then it has like probiotics, so good for gut health. But it doesn't have anything else added to it.
Wow.
So it's all just things that you could buy individually at the store and mix yourself. They've just done it right here for you.
Right. Okay. I like that one.
Yeah. So in this product, it has, like I said, it's got matcha tea. Is matcha big out your way?
I know it's in some products that I've seen. It's green, right? Matcha's green. Yeah.
All right, it's making its way.
Yeah. Well, no, and the only reason because I'm pretty sure that Dunkin' Donuts has like a matcha drink. That's, look, a lot of these things you see advertised when they become popular being mixed into something somewhere, And that was the
Just
first.
had to say Dunkin' Donuts.
Sorry.
We don't have that out here.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you're all Starbucks out there, right? Got yeah.
Yeah, and I mean we've got fancy donuts, but there's some Dunkin' Donuts, man.
Yeah. America runs on Dunkin', except for Washington State, I
Except
guess.
for Washington. Wah, wah. We got the
Okay, so
market on matcha though.
yeah, okay. All right. So matcha. All right. So
So
let's talk about
matcha is a green powder, and that's how you would buy it. It would be a little canister. It would be super expensive, in my opinion. It's expensive, and I'm also a cheap ass. So it would be expensive, but you're only using like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon at a time. So a little goes a long way. And what matcha is, it's actually ground up green tea. So the green tea is a leaf, Camellia sinensis, and they dry the green leaf or the tea leaf, and then that's what you would consume if you're having green tea.
okay.
But they can grind down the leaf into a very fine powder, and so now you have a lot of that product in a very small amount. And so that's essentially what the matcha tea is. And 1 cup of this can have about 68 milligrams of caffeine, compared to the whole leaf tea. The green tea has about 32 milligrams for the same cup. So it's about double for the matcha.
Okay.
Yeah. While we're on the tea realm,
So
mhm.
I knew matcha for another reason, and again, not that we're promoting products, but we are talking about them. And I've
Yeah,
talked about this one. I've talked about this one before, and I asked you to look into it for me, but you're very busy, and I know you haven't had a chance to do that yet. Which is the liquid IV, which I tend to drink quite a bit of,
yeah,
has an energy multiplier. And I can't read the side of the package because it comes in little packages like the one you showed that you keep in your purse, right? Well,
yeah.
I keep them in my vehicle. And so I brought it up on my phone because at least on my phone I could read the ingredients. And matcha is one of the ingredients. So premium organic matcha. One I GUAYUSA.
Guayasa, I think.
Guayasa, okay,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
that
say
one's pretty popular in energy drinks.
a naturally caffeinated tea. It says
Yeah,
um, potassium, ground ginger, vitamin C, and then a bunch of other vitamins. But
awesome.
the matcha is in there, and I wanted to look because it is green, and the flavor is it's a lemon ginger flavor. But
Yeah,
the green freaks a lot of people out. Like when I mix
yes,
one into a water bottle and drink it, I get all the time, oh, how the hell can you drink that? That looks disgusting, you know? And it doesn't
yeah,
taste that bad because it's lemon ginger. I mean, if you like ginger and you like lemon, it's okay.
right.
But it does look a little on the, if you're not into green stuff, it looks a little disturbing.
I mean, you want to talk about marketing, that right there, right? Like people eat with their eyes first, and so
Yeah.
yeah, you're not gonna get down with it. Like,
Yeah, it is what it is.
see you later. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
sorry, I rabbit trailed, or I took you off track again. Go ahead.
No, you're
Sorry.
good. So while we're on it, I mean, I did pull it up too, and I mean, yeah, at the top of the list, the first ingredient is pure cane sugar. You know, like why do we gotta add? That's why it tastes good.
Mm,
But it's only got, what is that, 5 or 8 milligrams, excuse me, grams. So it doesn't have a lot of sugar. I
right.
don't know. I probably wouldn't use it like, you know, more than once a day, twice a
Yeah,
day.
no, I definitely don't. For me, so here's my thing. I'm a morning coffee person. Always have been.
Yeah,
Cup in the morning. Usually by the time I
right
get
there
to
with
work.
you.
Okay, so more. Yeah, right. Here we go. Cup in the morning. If I'm in the office, usually by 10 o'clock, I'll have a second cup, and then I'm usually
Yeah,
good. Sometimes I'll have that mid-afternoon crash, mid to late afternoon crash. And,
right.
and and that's where this stuff usually comes in for some variation for me. Like
Yeah,
if I'm having one of those days where I just feel like, oh my God, I need to go home and take a nap right now, but I know I can't do that. That's when I'll be searching for something like we're talking about. And and occasionally, and again, I don't want anybody to take this like we're saying never ever drink that other stuff, because
Hmm.
it's all in moderation, right? If
Absolutely.
you enjoy the taste of Red Bull and you have one a week or a couple of weeks, whatever. I mean, it's not going to kill you, you know.
Right.
I enjoy the flavor of some of the bangs, although now I pay more attention, like, to how it makes me feel when I drink it,
Hmm.
and I feel the 300 milligrams of caffeine. You know, like when I'm sucking down, like if you can feel it in your body if you're paying attention. Like you can
Yeah.
feel your heart rate elevate. You can, like, you feel all this stuff. And
Yeah.
me being somebody that, for obvious reason, pays attention to his heart and his BPMs of his heart and all that, like
Sure.
it, yeah. So
Yeah.
I have pretty much cut most of that out, maybe once a week,
Hmm.
because if you pay attention to how it makes you feel, does it give you energy, or does it give you, like, you know like a euphoric feeling almost?
Sure. Yeah.
And that's probably not good if it's giving you a euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna need you to be an anchor because I'm gonna like burp for a
Okay,
moment.
go ahead.
You're gonna dial me back in.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
got you. Go ahead.
But what you like, okay, so being that I work with firefighters often and that I'm a primary care physician, the things that I always think about are prevention. Like, how can we prevent health risks? So, what can we know about your community, your line of work, and the risks that you have? And then, how do we tie that into your own personal health risks to just kind of like lay the land for you? And one of the things that you bring up is that, yeah, these things have a shit ton of caffeine. Like
Hmm.
that, if that shit, and your genetics plays a role in caffeine and how it impacts you.
Sure.
So, it's not like there's no equity with how caffeine will impact an individual. And so if we just like in a very simple manner think that you can have tachycardia, you can actually see an ST elevation, like we can even induce some AFib with this high levels of caffeine. So if that's just like from taking the product in itself in, and then you would put it inside of a person that's sleep deprived beyond 24 hours, right? And then they are like stressed, maybe just because they're a firefighter and they work a lot and or whatever, it was a tough day, or you responded to a call and you already were sleeping shitty and whatever it is, right? So
Sure.
you've got
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these health risks, like it compiles and compiles and compiles. So I really appreciate that you bring up that like you consume these beverages and now you're seeing how they impact you, because yeah, I bet they give you a boost of energy. That's the point. Like, good
Sure.
job.
Right. Yeah.
But what else is it coming with, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else is it doing for you? So, your community is a very smart community. So, use that knowledge that you have and tie it in, like, listen to yourself a bit and, like, maybe these really aren't the best for you, or you're going to dial it down from a 300 to a 150 milligrams.
Right. Well, and add on top of what you just said that a lot of us are doing this dehydrated going in. So you're not consuming enough. You're not consuming enough water. You're not hydrated enough in that 24-hour period that you're working, or daily, day to day. I mean, I'm to the point
Yeah.
now where I'm always drinking water. I drink water constantly, or something. Like you said in the last episode, water with maybe an additive to make it taste a little bit better, or what have you. But I know that throughout the day I'm hydrated. So if you get
Hmm.
called the task, or you add one of these drinks into your body, it's not that's the only thing you're consuming. Like, you haven't consumed
Yeah.
anything all day except for root beer and Coke, right? And
Yeah.
now you throw in an energy drink, but you
Yep.
haven't drank anything to hydrate yourself. We're working dehydrated. So, which
Yes.
is a huge problem.
Yes. And I'm going to give myself a solid here because I believe I'm able to pull myself back into the original conversation.
Awesome. Good
That,
job.
yeah, high five. So, one of the ingredients in that IV drink that you mentioned
Yep.
was, I think, called guayasa or something like that.
Yep. Hmm.
So, again, when you look at ingredients, Sometimes they'll say caffeine and they'll give you the milligrams right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll have other caffeine sources, but it won't actually tell you how much caffeine those provide to you. So that one, guayasa, something like that, that one is a caffeine source. There's another herb, I want to say it's called guarana,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
some of these G ones.
Yep.
They're all sources of caffeine, but the point as to why I'm bringing them up is that they don't have to be labeled as to how much they actually have. So it might say 150 milligrams of caffeine because that's what they chemically did put in there.
Right.
But they're adding other stuff that are caffeine sources, and we can't tell you exactly how much it is because it's a plant and it varies, you know?
Sure.
So take that into consideration too, that there's probably a little bit more than what it actually says. We just don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. We talked about some quick drinks that you could just pick up right off the shelf. Things that are like bubbly and fun. We got those nice little packets that you can carry around easily. Stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that would actually be really good to also just keep in your pack. Like a energy drink that's in a can or a glass might not be conducive to wildland fighting, right, or anything like that. But like a little
Right.
packet, you could easily carry that around. So that's
Sure.
another way that I would look at things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So teas. We talked a little bit about teas at the last visit, and they're the ones that I didn't dig into last time, but I started to today, was green tea. So we talked about green tea and how that's the leaf, and then you grind that down, and that's matcha powder. The matcha powder now has about twice the caffeine component for the same serving size. Then another one would be black tea, and black tea is green tea. It's just been rolled up when it's dry, when it's fresh, and then it's allowed to be oxidized by air and it ferments.
Okay.
And so that's how you get that black color, but it's still green tea. It's just a little bit of a different component now. So being that it's fermented, something with the caffeine process occurs, I don't know, but you can have up to 100 milligrams, like anywhere from 60 to 100 milligrams of caffeine for 1 cup of black tea. The thing about these teas is that they're quite bitter. So that's oftentimes what will take people away from wanting to really drink them in the first place.
Right.
So my recommendation would be that you don't follow the actual instructions on the side of the box and don't steep it in your water for any longer than 5 minutes. Any longer than 5 minutes will really pull out the tannins, which are astringent, and you get this bitter sensation from it.
Okay.
If you're drinking it on an empty stomach, you can feel like you're getting a little bit nauseous from it too because of how bitter it is. So I would pull the tea bag out after 5 minutes, or if you want reduced bitter, you want some flavor and reduced caffeine, you just dump that first cup of coffee or the tea that you made, and you brew it a second time, and now it's like a lot lighter.
Okay.
You could
Makes
also
sense.
add honey to it, would be a nice little way to flavor it. If you added like coconut milk with the whole fat, that'll provide some nice consistency to it. You could also buy what's it called? Chai tea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever
Yep.
had chai tea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah, now you're gonna tell me all about that pumpkin spice, whatever that they have. Sure.
I'm not a big pumpkin spice guy, but
Either.
the chai tea is pretty good. My
Yeah.
big thing, I cut out a lot of the sweeteners years ago,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of these drinks are really sweet,
Yeah.
and like my daughter loves the vanilla chai tea at Dunkin' Donuts. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a sip of hers, but it's about it for me. Is like a sip or two, just because
Yeah.
it's so sweet and
Yes.
not my bag.
Yeah, they're a little heavy-handed with their sugar, aren't they?
Little bit.
Yeah.
Bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that these green and black teas have is L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid, and it's thought to basically release GABA, which is that an inhibitory neurotransmitter I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps just reduce anxiety, make you feel a little bit more calm overall, but you're still getting a pretty good darn caffeine boost. You can do it hot, you can do it cold, you can make it ahead of time and then keep it in the fridge. So those are good alternatives there as well.
Okay.
Yerba mate, we talked about the canned drink.
We did.
You can also get it in tea form. And so I keep it here at work. I've got a bag of it. Comes in like 70, it's a 75 count thing there. But yerba mate is a leaf. It's really popular in South American countries, and it's incredibly popular there. It's a part of just their culture. So there are actually these like pods that they're gourds of some sort, and they're traditional, and they're like a perfect shape, and they traditionally will use them to make their matcha tea.
Mm-hmm.
But that aside from the tradition, us Americans have, started to use it for the actual energy production that we get out of it.
Right.
It does contain caffeine. It has an other stimulant inside of it as well. I think it's called theobromine. So you will get a little bit of a crash afterwards, which is the downside to caffeine products overall, or caffeinated products. But yerba mate, as the herb itself, is really rich in antioxidants, zinc, manganese, copper, iron, B vitamins, vitamin C. So it's just really like nutritious if you were to drink it. There's a lot of studies that are coming out that show that it can actually reduce LDL, so the bad cholesterol.
Yep.
So it can help get it into a healthier range, as well as help burn fat. And some of these studies, again, not no medical advice, but it's around drinking 3 cups a day, and that's a significant. It's not, well, I guess it's not a significant caffeine component, because 1 cup is about 70 milligrams. So 120 milligrams throughout the day. If you're doing 3 cups, that's not bad. And then you're getting some added health benefits.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
I like it.
Yeah. Now the next ones that I have do not have caffeine. So any questions that you have before we move on to like very firm, like these are products that don't have caffeine, but we'll talk about how they might help with energy and stamina.
No, not at all. I have notes from the last episode, and so far you have pretty much in order hit everything that I had written down. So keep doing your thing. I like it. It's all good.
Moving on. All right. Okay. So we spoke about ashwagandha.
Yeah, I didn't write that one. I didn't write that one down because I couldn't spell it.
I usually just write down ash or ash because I don't know either. So here we go. We'll of course have it in the document, but I will spell it out right now. So it is ASHWAGANDHA. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna name my first daughter then.
Ashwagandha.
Not at all. That'd be such a Washington thing to do.
Yeah, she's going to end up being called Ganda or Ash or Wah.
Lovely.
What up, Wah?
What's up, Uganda? Nice. So ashwagandha is a root, and you can grow it. Well, I guess we do out here. But yeah, so people grow it. But either way, you can get it in teas. So I have, again, this Republic of Tea product or brand. They've got one called Clarity and Calm. And it says on this, it says that it has adaptogenic herbs, and it highlights ashwagandha. This is one that I really like. So we kind of said in the last video that what adaptogenic herbs do is that they essentially help you adapt to stress. So the way that I describe it to my patients and the way I think about it is that if this is like your cup of your tolerance for stress, you don't really know oftentimes until you get there, like what stressors are going to kind of make it overflow. So what these adaptogenic herbs actually do is allow you to feel like your cup of capability of what you can handle for stress is more. You can handle more. So you're able to just adapt more to stress. We could maybe even, translate that into greater resiliency overall. It's really in just being able to cope better. So stressors aren't so severe to your nervous system overall. So ashwagandha is incredibly popular in other countries for basically kind of just chilling folks out and bringing them back to like a centering piece, let's say.
Okay.
For your community, I really like this one because it assists with the cortisol regulation. So again, the adrenal glands.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're constantly just being activated for a call or responding to something, then we're having these little bursts of cortisol. And then if we're not getting the proper rest and relaxation afterwards for whatever reason, then our cortisol can oftentimes just remain elevated, and that could be detrimental. So this particular herb, ashwagandha, you could take it by capsule, you could drink it in tea, but it basically will just help you feel like you can handle stress more. And so this is a very indirect way of addressing low energy, is
Okay.
that if you're low energy and you're stressed, like good luck. So if you have a low energy, but your stress and you is not as severe and you feel like you can just cope more, well, then you can probably go the distance a little bit more. So it's an indirect way of making you just feel like you can.
Can we slip that into somebody's can we slip this stuff into somebody's daily routine if we know they have a hard time adapting to stress? I'm gonna just start like
Just like dial it down, Dan.
slipping a little ashwagandha or something else in the,
Yeah.
hey, do me a favor, run away from your desk for a minute. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna,
right. And just like
gonna
crack it up in there. This is going to be illegal in no time. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We've got this episode to blame for it. But yeah, and and I think when we were on the last video, one of your listeners had, I think, made a comment as we were recording, something about how they've been taking it and that they found a lot of benefit from it. Like,
Yep.
it's a really pretty cool herb. It's
Yeah.
a root, but it's really pretty awesome. I mean, you look at it's going to be the next creatine. It's going to be the next nitric oxide. You're just going to start to see it places.
Okay.
And so it's unfortunate that it's a really like long word that we can't easily spell, but I guarantee you're going to start to see it places because of just how wonderful it is for stress management, mood enhancement, reducing your anxiety, making you feel more calm overall. And it's not habit forming. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Some other ones that we mentioned at the last video, and another adaptogenic herb would be Tulsi. Tulsi is also called holy basil, and this is an herb that is very, very popular for its role in the Ayurvedic medicine. And Ayurvedic medicine is the primary form of medicine in India. So this is a root, or excuse me, this is an herb that they use oftentimes to, again, similar to ashwagandha, just really promote rest and relaxation, increase calm, reduce anxiety. It's an adaptogen, so it makes you feel like you can handle more. It has a very different taste than ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a root, and in Sanskrit, it means smells like horse, I think. So if you're drinking the tea, you got to balance it with other stuff, where Tulsi is a little bit of a better flavor. So I showed you the ashwagandha product that I carry, and this is something that I keep at work. Like if we were to look at my stash, like I've just got a ton of teas, and I learn my herbs and I pick them as I need for what I need. So I've got the ashwagandha here. I've also got this other brand. It's called Numi, Numi. And this one has Tulsi as well as ashwagandha. So boom, there you go. It also has licorice, so that might turn some people away.
Ooh, yeah. Sorry.
Well, your IV drink has ginger. So what's up?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's all right. Hey, some people, licorice is one of those things you're not in the middle. You're not going to fall in the middle on licorice. It's not like, it's all right. It's either I love licorice or I do not love licorice. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Same with like cilantro. You're in or you're out.
Yes. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
Right?
I've had that conversation often. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man. You can really ruin somebody's day. Talk about slipping something into somebody's food, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Throw some cilantro.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so this product I like. It tastes really yummy. Another ingredient that's in this particular product is maca. So maca was another thing that I wanted to talk about. Maca is, if you're a patient of mine, we've talked about maca. You're probably taking maca. It's maca, man. So maca is a root. Maca is Lepidum, and it's a root out of Peru. And that is a very popular traditional root over there for basically enhancing vigor and vitality is the way that I always word it. And you can think of vigor and vitality in like any realm of one's life. Typically in Peru, it's brought on for assisting with low libido, and it can be a little bit of an aphrodisiac. So you can think of it that way of vigor and vitality.
I was going to say the gentleman listening to this episode, as soon as you said vigor and vitality, brains went to one spot and one spot only.
Good.
Right. Yeah. Right. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. If that's what you were if that's what you were thinking, and you were like,
you were right.
Yeah, you were right. Okay.
You were right. Well, all right. So then that's another thing too, like a little like sidebar here is that an unfortunate thing that we see with your community is that with the circadian rhythm dysregulation, so the sleep deprivation and just, circadian rhythm dysregulation, and also the high cortisol levels, oftentimes we can see hormone disruption, and sometimes we can see low testosterone. And a symptom of low testosterone is reduced vigor and vitality. So this actually is an herb that can assist with that. It's also going to assist with giving energy or providing an energy boost without actually being a stimulant. So it does not have caffeine, but it will help you just feel like I can do this, like I can charge ahead.
Yeah.
I like this herb or this root. It's also adaptogenic. So again, it helps you just feel like you can handle stress more or better. And then it is really rich with various amino acids, has B vitamins, C and D, various minerals, iron. So that's one that I really, really like. And I feel like I have pretty much gone through the list of products I wanted to.
I have one more on my list. Just touch on it quick because I know you got someplace to be, and I definitely don't want to keep you from there because it sounds awesome. Is goji berries.
Goji berries.
Yeah, I wrote down goji berries, and I don't remember why I wrote it down. It's in the same column as yerba mate and holy basil, but maybe just because I was writing things very quickly.
That one is basically another just like little, it's a food source. So it does not contain caffeine. It's just another way to provide you a little boost of nutrients. So it's really rich in minerals and various vitamins, and very potent in antioxidants. And so, we've mentioned antioxidants a couple times. And so why would we want those? Well, antioxidants help with cellular energetics. And so in an indirect way, goji berries basically will provide you a little bit of boost of feeling like you can do more because it's a nutrient. It's like a superfood, we can call it.
Gotcha.
And it's also, I don't know the type of sugar that it has in it, but there's a little bit of a sugar source there as well. And it's
okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah. So kind of as a little recap. So if we're thinking about content of caffeine in various products, a can of Coke, for instance, has about 32 milligrams. A cup of green tea is about the same, so 32, so you can just keep that in mind. Black tea and matcha tea are going to be double that, so around 60 to 90. Coffee is going to be around 95 milligrams for a cup. Energy drinks anywhere from 150 or more. So again, keeping in mind like 32 milligrams for a can of Coke, somewhere in the in-between land for some of these teas, and then energy drinks are like way above and beyond. So if we're considering you want way above and beyond, look at the ingredient list for things that you can actually pronounce, things that start to educate yourself a little bit more in the individual product, or reach out to us and I would love to try to address those questions for you. If you want, and then you can like kind of just dial it down as needed.
Yeah, for sure. And look, you got to pay attention to your daily grind and your daily
Yeah.
intake, you know. So if you know
Yes.
that if you're starting, like I just mentioned earlier, if you know you're starting your day off with a cup of coffee, which I do every day, so that's 95 right there, then I have another cup at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's another 95. And then if I
Yeah.
walk across the street to the convenience store and grab a Bang at 300,
Yep.
that's a lot of caffeine in a short amount of time.
It
So
is. And the daily, they say that you should not have any more than 400 in a day. So you just exceeded that. You just did
absolutely.
right there. And that's a very common story. And that's of what, like 12 ounces of black coffee? Like, we're America. We
Yeah.
don't stop at 12.
Big
Like,
gulp.
that's a joke, dude.
Yeah.
In a
Big gulp.
cup of
Supersize me.
espresso? What the
Yeah.
hell is that shit?
Yeah, exactly. I hear
Yeah.
you. All right. Well, this was great. I think that I think this will be very helpful for those that reached out to us that were just like, you know, their brain exploded on the last one, and they were like, "Holy shit, you guys covered a shit ton of material, and I could not keep up. I couldn't write that fast." I think this will be really helpful, and what we are going to do, or what I should say is what you are going to do, I'm just going to help share it, is put together a document with a little information on all of this, so the spellings are there and the names are there, and you know, you're not like sitting there trying to walk around your local Wally store or cruise Amazon and look for something that you're not really sure what it is.
Totally.
You'll be able to reference this document, and we'll probably put it up on the blog page, or I'll put it in the show notes, or we'll put it in a bunch of different places, so it's very easy for everybody to find, and hopefully it is helpful. I think it
Very
will be.
cool. Yeah.
But other than that, we have already decided on what part 3 will be, and who knows when part 3 will happen, but we'll make it happen soon, right? We'll dive into some even more stuff, and it's good.
Yeah, and knowing that, we're going to get into that topic around protein powders and workout enhancements and stuff like that. If your listeners have anything in particular that they would like me to focus on, that helps, because otherwise you get a little bit of episode 1.
Sure.
I liked episode 2 a little bit more dialed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, sometimes when you do it in the open format, you know, look, I love the open format because it's just like, boo, whatever. Let's go where
Yeah.
we go. Let's go where we go. But you're right. When you have to hit on specific things, it's definitely a little bit easier to be to have an idea and be focused. So yeah. So if you have any further questions on things that we discussed today, you can always hit me up and I will forward it to Dr. Kent, or hit her up directly on your Instagram. Go ahead and share your info. Well, since we're here, go ahead and share your info.
I always forget my Instagram. All right. I hope I get this right.
At Dr._Michelle Kent. Right? Did I get it right?
I believe you did.
I'm going to double check it right now. I think I got it right.
Dr._Michelle Kent.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's it.
me.
Is that it?
I believe so.
It
should be. But if you can't reach me there, here's my email. It's my name, Michelle, 2 L's. Michelle Kent, KENT .nd@gmail.com.
And it is Dr._Michelle 2 L's Kent.
Cool.
All right. And
Yeah.
it's a very easy Google search too, because I know when I was looking for your bio to share on the last show, I just Google searched your name and you were right there. So it was very easy.
Creepy.
Very, very easy to find. So if you have any questions that you don't want to pass through me for whatever reason that is, I'm fine with that. Reach right out to Dr. Kent and she'll be happy to help you out.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add before we say our goodbyes?
Thank you very much for having me. I really do appreciate this. It's quite the pleasure and honor. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you've been adding to the show, and I'm looking forward to doing some more. And I thoroughly appreciate people's involvement and ability to help others. And it's cool when you have an episode like the last one we did, and you get questions from people you would never ever expect to get questions from,
Yeah.
and you're able to help out in one way or another. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. So
Teamwork.
again, I'm sorry, go ahead. What was that?
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork for sure. So again, check out Dr. Ken at _ Dr. Michelle Ken. Google her, send her an email, do whatever you want to do. I thank you for being on the show once again, and watch for part 3 where we'll dive into some of that other stuff we talked about today.
Yep.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.